Hollywood creation iRobot transports us to future Chicago circa 2035, where streets, offices, and homes are filled with anthropomorphic robots. Loosely based on Isaac Asimov's short fiction stories iRobot, the film is built on robot as a slave premise, where machines co-occupy the same living space as humans, serving them. Another iRobot, the iRobot Corporation, is already translating the science fiction ideas into consumer reality. The company sold more than 20 million cleaning servants. Although consumer society today is far from what futuristic science fiction narratives depict, robots and artificial intelligence, or AI, present in our experience. Alexa, Siri, and other AI-driven assistants are giving people human-like responses. Pepper, Now, and other robots are greeting people at the hotels, museums, or retail stores in a human-like manner. Such new materiality fosters many questions, be it business, social, legal, or ethical. Comprehensively, robot and AI phenomenon is increasingly appearing in media narrative. For example, New York Times website mentions of the word robots grew from 0.22% in 1990 to 0.39% in 2000 to 0.83% in 2010 and to 1.76% in 2010-2013. News articles, along with science fiction books and films, shape public discourse on the topic. Cultural meaning is known to be transferred to individuals. News stories, therefore, present fruitful field for understanding context of consumption. Drawing from the studies in the consumer culture theory and literary theory, we aim to focus on robots and AI dialogue. Contextualizing Bakhtin's theory of chronotop, we studied the narrative of robots and AI technology in the news. Bakhtin's assumption is based on the idea that narrative constructs the world. Chronotop is the intrinsic connectedness of temporal and spatial relationships that are artistically expressed in literature. It is the place where knots of narrative are tied and untied. Such time-space imaginations would allow to explore understudied dimensions of consumption and contribute to consumer research debate on technology, temporality, and spatiality. Technology meaning has been closely considered by CCT researchers. Meek and Fournier studied sociohistory of technological products and identified a set of paradoxes. Kozinets argued that technology is ideology. Technology can be an absolute good, an absolute evil, generate pleasure, or increase efficiency. Gisler provided an engaging discussion on technology contestations and the insights generated in nature-technology confrontations. It is interesting, though, to look into technology from the perspective of time-space. Spatial and temporal perspectives were already introduced into the debate. Warman and Rocca studied how consumers experience time. They introduced the concept of time flow. Although they identify the elements that shape experiences on micro level, the study is limited in showing the formation of those elements. Looking into bigger sociocultural contexts of technological innovations, we address such gap in theorization of temporality. We introduce how temporality and spatiality are presented by technology. The study continues the discussion that is prevalent in public discourse. Ford, for example, provides in-depth analysis of how robots and AI are reshaping the labor market and threatening to jobless future. Brynjolfsson and McAfee develop a more optimistic view where the growth of machines creates new opportunities. Since robots and AI now take a constant place in the media narration, identifying how space and time is depicted in various ideological scenarios helps us to understand the cultural meaning of this phenomenon. Our discourse analysis is based on news stories about robots and AI. ProQuest database and Google News were used to collect news items across several decades starting from 1950s, alongside with the online archives of New Yorker Life, Scientific American, Forbes, The Economist, Harvard Business Review, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and popular science media sources. The search was conducted using the terms artificial intelligence and robots.
Others like us on Earth, Max, in hiding, and we're going to join them.
Android, starring Klaus Kinski.
Now, let me get this straight. You've got
An android.
That's like a robot, right?
That's correct.
And you want to hook me up to this robot and stimulate me. Stimulate like sex, right?
Quite unnerving that it was quite a good feeling of skin, but was cold.
Yeah.
She's like a corpse.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, the reason that we don't heat her up, it can be done, it could be heated up, but she runs on a 12-volt battery.
6 months after the AI initiative was announced last year, it was used by intelligence analysts for drone strikes against ISIS and an undisclosed location in the Middle East.
Looking into temporal and spatial representations of where robots and AI appear, we find four main chronotypes that are predominant in the narratives of these technologies. We refer to them as fantasies of the past, present time flow, human master future, and robot master future. Fantasies of the past are rich with references to historical mythology of machines and failed expectations of AI. Present time flow portrays various relationships that exist now. Robots and AI born in research labs and science fiction films move to our roads, streets, homes, hospitals, school, restaurants, and so on. This is still shared space between humans and machines. Future is the most dominant element of the storytelling. We have human master future and robot master future. These are two central ideological representations of utopia and dystopia. In the former, machines are part of the reality cohabiting with people peacefully, and in the latter, they're destroying people completely. Human master may incorporate the use of robots and AI, and this chronotype calls for robot-enhanced humanity, where robots serving humans. This utopian scenario delineates the picture in which robots augment people's opportunity by freeing them from mundane tasks and burdensome work. Such scenario may lead to equality. We should know the difference between artificial intelligence, AI, and intelligence augmentation, IA. Whereas AI is the machine acting like a human, IA is the human acting like a machine. As Russell Belk notes, humanoid robots, androids if male, genoids if female, are becoming increasingly human-like. The counterpart to computerized machines is cyborgs, cybernetic organisms. Humans are becoming more machine-like. We already cannot differentiate what is written by machines and what is written by humans. Robot Master Future is a more predominant rhetoric. That Chronotop assumes robot apocalypse. This is where machines are presented as demons and supervillains that most likely will destroy humanity. In Robot Master Future, machines are everywhere. They are evolving fast and they finally occupy the whole human space. This idea is so predominant in science fiction that Robert Grassi refers to it as apocalyptic AI. Scenarios, be it the future dominated by machines, humans, or finding equality, leads to various outcomes, be it the singularity, transhumanism, uploading minds to the computer. Mary Douglas talks about things that are being out of place, which Russell Belk brings into the discussion of the place for robots. A proper place for robots may even stay in the realms of fantasy. As we have identified in this study, the dominant way of narrating robots and AI is their prevalence and potential threat in the future. Such narratives raise the questions of the borders between humans and non-humans in many aspects, including those of power. Study of these representations open up a possibility to develop the debate on how technology is used as a political instrument in shaping consumption and influencing consumers in accordance with specific ideological goals. However, such dominant representation of robots and AI is almost entirely Western. If to look into the Asian context, Japan to be more specific, we can find a friendlier view towards the machines. Japan is even referred to be the place where the newest form of humanoids, Robo sapiens japanicus, are emerging. We could be entering the age of robots.